the great bounty we have because of it, similar to Thanksgiving. Um, I think it is one of our defining and most prestigious, most profound, not prestigious, but most profound holidays that we have. Up there with, of course, Memorial Day, Independence Day, and today. That's like the markers. It's like Memorial Day is the unofficial start of summer. 4th of July or Independence Day is the middle of summer, and Labor Day it marks the unofficial end of summer. So, just to give you some idea. But this is a very selfish show. I mean, it's always a selfish show, but it's especially one. It's actually Atlas Day. It's Atlas Shrugged Day, September 2nd. Plays a great part in the novel itself, and it also was the day that Ayn Rand began making notes or actually writing the lines, different prose for the book. So there's that. Hold on one moment. All right, I'm back. But no, I was saying how Ayn Rand started writing her magnum opus, Atlas Shrugged, on September 2nd. I think it was in the 1940s. Because the book was published in 1957, but she had started, researching and taking notes, at least 12 years prior to the publication of Atlas Shrugged. So, I just wanted to say how, what is Labor Day? What does it mean? What does it mean to me? I haven't really, studied the origins or anything like that, but it is a day that celebrates the working man or the working woman. And what is a working woman? We hear this all the time. The working class, the middle class, it's very important. And of course, it's like, I hate to be cynical. But that's like the idea of behind it. It's like they're all thinking about the people that make the votes. They can stab and jab at the rich, the wealthy, quote unquote. Um, all they want, they say the millionaires and the billionaires. They say billionaires especially because most of them are millionaires. So they're like, whoa, we can't talk about ourselves now. I mean, all those billionaires, only a couple thousand of them. We can talk about the billionaires, yeah, sure. And then there's like that weird space where you can talk about only certain billionaires. Like, oh, if you're a black billionaire, oh, of course you're all right. You're all right. You're okay. You're cool. That's all right. And if you're a musician or an entertainer and you're black, like Oprah Winfrey or Jay-Z, or an athlete like Michael Jordan, oh, that's okay. That's cool. It's all right. We'll go with you. You're all right. That's fine. Um, but it just seems to me like people don't know what the idea of Labor Day actually is, and I'm just going off of objective view, because I don't know if there's an objectivist view. Ayn Rand would be the only one that had the objectivist view, or maybe Leonard Peikoff. So I'll say objective view. It means that you are using your brain. You're using your mind to produce whatever you're doing, whether you're a garbage man or the CEO of a garbage company. You are using your mind on whatever level that is appropriate for getting the job done, for doing a great job, doing an excellent job, doing it well, at whatever level you are. If you're a barista like I was at Starbucks, I can make the best frappuccinos anybody could ever have. I was okay. I was a very good people person. People said I was a money person, really, But I interacted with the customers well. It was all especially helpful to know that. So I think Labor Day is a day that we celebrate the mind, the productive mind, the thoughts that go into work. They're going to. I think there was an interviewer that one time asked Ayn Rand what was the difference between work and productive work, and I think she said they're this basically the same thing, except especially productive work is work that yields something of value. That's productive work. Whether you're on an assembly line and you're overseeing robots that are on an assembly line nowadays, most likely. You have to have that same kind of fervor and passion, for your job. I mean, it's just not it's not just a paycheck. You have to look at a lot of people say, "Oh, it's Monday." This is a rarity. A Monday, one of the few Mondays that we have off, including Martin Luther King Jr. Day and President's Day and Memorial Day and today, Labor Day. So I think that is part of the crucial outline of being a productive human, of being someone that is, on their minds and in their souls know that they're doing something proper. They're doing something to benefit themselves and their families and everything like that. If they have a family, that's one of the things they always say. I want to make it better for working class families. Like, what is a family, and what is these are weird, loose, and rubbery terms that people use all the time, but don't really know what they mean, and they don't have time to explain them in those political ads. And the left and the right, Democrats, Republicans, they have no clue what it means to be a productive human being. They are usually bureaucrats, or they had been. The closest, Trump to an extent has the notion of it, but he fails in the sense that he's a moron, and he doesn't really know what he's talking about, what he's saying. So and like I said, he would have been a great candidate. Just thinking about the resume, like a billionaire, who made his fortune off of different real estate properties. Of course, some of those properties were garbage. Some of those deals were garbage. But he made himself into a billionaire for the most part, even though some of it was inherited. He still had to maintain it. He put his name on everything. Kind of reminds me of like a bizarro world of the character Hank Reardon. There's Reardon Metal, there's Reardon iron ore, there's Reardon. He puts his name on all kinds of different businesses. So that's kind of like what Trump did. But that's what I think people see the appeal, but don't understand the actual sense of him being a person. They see, oh wow, he's a billionaire. Oh wow, he made all these businesses. Oh wow, he was already president. I mean, it's like, but that's the terror. That's the terror. That's horrible. And I hate the idea of people saying, well, what are they going to do for black people, especially with Vice President Harris. She doesn't have to be beholden to black people at all, and plus, black people should be considered individuals, not black people. I mean, it's a shame that we have to be, separated by our melanin. It's really sad. It's really sad. But this day represents something that's deeper than that. It represents something that is profound and shows how the working mind, not just the working class or the middle class or the poor or the rich or the wealthy, everyone who's productive, that's what I care about. I don't care about the rich. Damn the rich, damn the poor, damn the working middle class, damn all of that. I care about individuals. I care about productive human beings. I don't care if you got $200 billion in the bank or if you got $200 in the bank. As long as you're productive, you're doing a great thing. I mean, I've seen clips. There's this one clip with this kid at a movie theater. He could just be like, pump the butter in the popcorn just on the top, so it just settles on the top, and there's not much in the middle or in the bottom. But this kid was like a wizard. He took the bucket of popcorn, layered it with butter, shook it up, layered it, spun it around, put more butter on top. Like, he layered the butter in between the popcorn. Like mostly you just get squeeze, that's it. But this kid was on point. He was special. It was great. So definitely check out for that on the internet. Look up I guess movie theater kid or something like that. I'm gonna check it real quick. I'm looking for it right now. Texas theater's popcorn guy becomes viral. That's what it's called. Go, look up popcorn guy on Facebook. The kid is amazing. And what does he get paid? Well, probably maybe $8, $9 an hour, $11 an hour. But that doesn't matter because he's showing how he cares about his whatever he's doing. He's showing that he cares about whatever he is focused on, whatever task it is. It doesn't matter. Here's from Wikipedia. Labor Day is a federal holiday in the United States celebrated on the first Monday of September to honor and recognize the American labor movement and the works and contributions of labor, to the development and achievements in the United States. Beginning in the late 19th century, as the trade union and labor movements grew, trade unionists proposed that a day be set aside to celebrate labor. Labor Day was promoted by the Central Labor Union and Knights of Labor, which organized the first parade in New York City. That's what Jay-Z said. Labor Day parade. Rest in peace, Bob Marley. Let me see. In 1887, Oregon was the first state of the United States to make it an official public holiday. By the time it became an official federal holiday in 1894, 30 states in the United States and the U.S. officially celebrated Labor Day. Canada's Labor Day, this is just a fun fact. They have the U in labor, of course. Is also celebrated on the first Monday of September. More than 150 other countries celebrate International Workers' Day on May 1st, or May Day. The European holiday, May Day. Okay. May Day was chosen by the Second International of Socialist and Communist Parties to commemorate the general labor strike in the United States and the events leading to the Haymarket Affair, which occurred in Chicago, Illinois from May 1st to May 4th, 1886. See, they try to, you can have that spin on it because that's part of history. That it's about communists and socialists and unions and trade organizations and down with the rich, eat the rich, eat the poor. They have better, it's not as gamey as the rich. The poor have good have vittles too. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not talking about anything about cannibalism. But seriously, yeah, I mean, you could say about communism and socialism and all that, and labor unions and all that. That's fine. That's cute. But Labor Day is about anybody who works, who has ever worked. It's almost like a veteran, who has ever worked, whoever put the proverbial nose to the grindstone, who's ever woken up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get to the job at 7 o'clock in the morning, who had commutes, who have people that have gone into office buildings, and people have gone on chartered planes, and people have driven into their jobs every day, and just to make the mortgage, just to pay for their kids' school clothes, just to make sure that they have clean water, and the refrigerator is always stocked. That's the beauty of Labor Day. And I think that goes to anybody. The wealthy, they can get another yacht. They can put in more money to a political campaign. They can do it. I mean, that's beautiful. I don't care where you are, as long as you're productive. That's all I care about. And that's a sad thing that we still don't really recognize. Like the late great Steve Jobs, he had an idea for his company to be completely, built on the idea of making something beautiful. And what does that take? That takes engineers. It takes a lot of work. It takes everything. Just like I love in the movie. The movie Steve Jobs had a great line. He said, um, everybody's in the. I'm paraphrasing. So I can't remember the exact quote, but everybody's in the orchestra, and I'm playing the orchestra, and you're the first chair. He was talking to Steve Wozniak. That was one of the most beautiful elements, because Steve Jobs, he said, Steve Wozniak said, you didn't put a hammer to a nail, you didn't do anything hands on or anything like that. But the genius and the beauty of the late great Steve Jobs was the fact that, like he said, he was the conductor. He's not playing any instruments. He's the one, and it's more than just keeping time. It's the passion and the strength and the directness and the absolute movements that made him wonderful and great and a great asset to this world. So Labor Day is a day for the mind. It is all about the mind, and that's what I'm going to be talking about with Ayn Rand and Atlas Shrugged. Let me see. I'm just looking for. Okay. All right. So I had to check something. Okay. So yeah, Labor Day is all about the mind. It's all about production. It's all about productiveness. It's all about thinking. If you can have your mind focused on thought and thinking, you will go far. You will do very well. Your mind will be a beacon of light shining towards the shadowy parts of indifference, laziness, shuffling, step and fetch it kind of thing. Just that, that kind of ideal of not being productive at all, not being a worker, because there's billionaire workers. We have to remember that they've already paid their fair share. They built that. Jeff Bezos built that. Elon Musk built that. Bill Gates built that. Mark Zuckerberg, I mean, we can question and quibble about the origins of Facebook with that, but he essentially built that. Because he said in the movie, I mean, he didn't say it, as a quote, but he said, if you would have invented Facebook, you would have invented Facebook. So that's the thing. All the different, when we have those screens that say, your terms of use or your terms of service, and they're like 30 pages long, that's all part of the game. That's all part of what happens in business. They have to do that to protect themselves from you, because you could do a lot of damage. So you agreeing to our terms of service, terms of use that you didn't read. There's a lot of legalese. It's a lot of legalese. I've read. I think Apple had an update one time, and I think I read it all the way through, and I was just like, okay, I have no idea what that means, but I read it all the way through. It got me to a point of understanding, but or misunderstanding. But those things have to come into it first. If people don't understand, businesses have all that. You have to have terms of service, you have to have liability, you have to have all these, and you have to have insurance, you have to have all these different factions. It's not just all these millionaires and billionaires, especially billionaires. That's what they really attack, are billionaires. So it really is a really goofy, weird space to be in. It really is weird. It's very strange. So, like I said, I don't care about you being poor, rich, or middle class. It makes not a difference to me. All I care is that you're productive, that you use your brain, that you use your mind, that you think, that you create things that are beautiful, that you create things that are wonderful. That it could be a cappuccino, it could be a latte, cafe con leche, with the leaf in the middle, make designs and the coffee. Like, you don't have to do that, but there's a sense of aesthetics there. There's a quiet sense of artistic, leanings, even though it's not art. But there's a sense of beauty to that. So I have to, acknowledge and salute anybody and everybody out there that has the ability to create. And that's like 98% of us, something like that, in the world. I could be wrong, but I'm guessing, most of the world's population can fend for themselves, can actually do something, no matter what it is. Like I said, I've been a garbage man. I've been a dishwasher. I was a barista. I was a sales associate. I was a waiter, a terrible waiter. Oh my God, I was horrible. But I always gave it my best. I always try to do the right thing and say, like, I had customer service skills. I have the best customer service skills. I have to pat myself on the back for that. I have really good customer service skills. I'm really great at that. But every other aspect of the job, I could not perform properly. So it was like, I gotta get the hell out of here. I can't be doing this. So I went up to Massachusetts and picked up garbage. They call it garbage. I mean, they call it recycling, but it's garbage. When people throw things out, that's garbage. But anyway, Labor Day is the exact ideal of being a true patriot. And I don't mean that in like the flimsy, like USA, that's cute. That's cute and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't mean it in that way. I mean that you are a patriot in your own mind. You're an individual. You're an individualist. You're a patriot for being a person that wants to aid their own life, to make their life better, to create something, to make something, to do something that nobody has ever done. That's the beauty of all this. That's the wonderment. That's the part that gets you to a special point in your life, when you know that you have created something of value, that you have done a service that is of great weight. And I also like how this Labor Day falls in September, so it's still technically summer, even though it's the unofficial end of summer. A lot of people they don't understand the fact that Labor Day is more than just a cookout, more than just people coming over to the house, more than it's really about the mind. It's all about thought. It's about being within the idea of thought, of reason, of using your own thought, using your own brain. That's what it is. We have to acknowledge that. We have to contend with that all the time. We have to show just how we can be very antsy, I guess you can say, kind of thinking like in a way that you're not really sure of who you are and what you are and what you're about. But that's what days like Labor Day does, and I'm glad that I haven't seen it, but they probably have it by now. They have, people that say, service and sacrifice on Labor Day. It's a service and sacrifice day. They do that for Martin Luther King Day. They do that for multiple days. It's just a shame. It's sad. Sacrifice is an evil, not a good. Don't ever let anyone say that. Sacrifice is better. What do they say? Obedience is better than sacrifice. Obedience to whom and for what? To whom and for what? What is the sacrifice for? That's what I want to know. How do we even combat that? So I think that is a very poignant part of this holiday, to recognize it and to show that we have everything that's within our grasp, that we have everything that we know of, and that we can seek and continue to seek and know about during this holiday all day. We're going to have the final, some people close up the grills after this. They put the grill away, they wrap it up. Not until what? Spring, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes they grill in the autumn and winter, but not in the same way. Not like the same feeling of Labor Day. People being coats and everything. So that is the sad part. That is really sad. So we have to take that into account whenever we discuss Labor Day. Billionaires, millionaires, and everyone in between and below. Because they made their fortune. That's what the thing with the billionaires. They made their fortune. Like 95% of I don't know the numbers, but it's got to be high. It's got to be in the 90s. People that started in garages and basements and offices and stuff like that, started from nothing. May have gotten a business loan. May have gotten some kind of fundraiser, a Kickstarter, GoFundMe, and they put all that to making sure that they ensured that their future would be brighter. But they like Bill Gates, he slept under his desk with a pot of coffee on the desk, and would wake up and go back in code and put in different inputs. I know I'm crazy, but that's what I'm talking about. Like that's just the essence of it. Dorm rooms. Look at Facebook, like I mentioned before. You can dorm rooms, garages, basements, offices, and they're now multi-billionaires because that's nothing that Steve Jobs is saying. Like, you got to design a logo. You have to have a name. You have to have it incorporated. You have to have. There's so many things that go into it. People just say, "Oh, they got their billions," and oh my God, go buy another yacht. Just very dismissive and disgusting and nasty. And the irony of it all is they use their products. Go into anybody's house. Go into anyone's home. See what corporations, see what different companies they use in their everyday lives. The TV they use, the phone they use, the MacBook and the laptop and all of that. Everything that goes, the clothes they wear. Oh, those damn billionaires. Oh my God, how could you're wearing their stuff? You're eating their food. You went to Whole Foods, right? That's owned by Jeff Bezos. What are you talking about? Oh, the billionaires. Oh, the billionaires. I can't believe them. They're terrible. Oh, well, let me take this Uber. It's a weird place we're in. And then you have people like AOC. I hate AOC. I mean, I hate her, but Alexandria Ortiz Ortega Court. Let me make sure I get her name right. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She had either Eat the Rich on a beautiful gown one time, It's like, what? And it's like just a few, like I said, just a few of them can be rich, be billionaires, but only just a few. So that leads me into Atlas Shrugged. Atlas Shrugged is my favorite novel of all time. My non-favorite novel by Ayn Rand is Touré's Soul City. You can look both of those up, but we're going to talk about Atlas now. Atlas Shrugged is the declaration of Labor Day. It is all about the productive individuals. It is all about the people of the mind, people of thought, people that are fed up, done with the world, and vanish for some reason, some weird, mysterious reason. They're vanishing from the world. They're not, performing their tasks. They're leaving their businesses. These are the millionaires and billionaires, and not just millionaires and billionaires or businessmen, but also artists, also people that are just productive, but may not be in the upper classes. So I think it should be said that the ties between Labor Day and Atlas Shrugged are very strong. They're very strong, and that's the power of this day, September 2nd, when Ayn Rand first started writing her novel, her magnum opus, her greatest work. That set off a fire in the minds of millions of people the world over, including myself. Because I read Anthem, I had read The Fountainhead, then I read We the Living, then I read Atlas. When I got to Atlas, I was just so enraptured by the beautiful language, by the wonderful sentence structure, by the overall plot structure of the novel, how everything integrated into one cohesive whole. That sparked my ideas for writing my own stories. So I was very impressed by that. It made me want to definitely venture into the ideas of what they had. Like there's certain characters I mentioned. Hank Rearden. Hank Rearden is the one character that I can always go to say that he represented my life. He represents my life. I should say I represented his life, really. But he's productive. I can't match his business genius. I can never approach that. But he definitely had a flair for business, and knew who he was, but he didn't know how to to figure out. He knew. He was like, he would say things like, "I'm selfish." Yeah. So what? I'm selfish. Yes. And he's trying to help out his family. Everybody else. They're monsters. They're terrible. And even Dagny, her brother. This is a family. The best shows and the best TV movies and the best books are about families. They're not about families, but they involve families, I should say. So you got Dagny Taggart, the real brains and mind behind Taggart Transcontinental. She's a business executive for the train company. She is everything. She's beautiful. She's brainy. She has everything going for her. She drives the plot for the most part. It just seems like we demonize and damn these kind of people. We don't give them their fair share. We don't give them their fair share. Their fair share is building a company and making it successful. That's their fair share. When the billionaires should pay more taxes. Really? Even if the top 1% were to pay the highest tax rate, it still wouldn't pay for maybe 2-3 of the alphabet soup, programs that the government runs. It's insane. Should be no taxes whatsoever, federal, state, city. Maybe there could be a consumption tax. I can agree with that. I can agree with a consumption tax. But that's about it. So I would say that, we have a different set of ideals that we must come to reconcile. Because in the book Atlas Shrugged, I mean, I love the title. I mean, people. That's the thing with her titles, Ayn Rand's title. She always had like a working title, and then the best title came in and is like, yes, that makes sense. Okay, I can start with We Living, Airtight. I was like, Airtight, okay, but We the Living, yeah, let's go with that. And then the one was supposed to call it Ego, and that would have given away a lot. And then she was just like, Anthem. Oh, yeah. Then she was like, Secondhand Lives. And they're like, all right, maybe we could roll with that. And then I was like, well, that's putting too much emphasis on the villains or the corrupt people in the book. Let's make it the fountainhead, the wellspring or the source of all human endeavors and human beauty and greatness and the human spirit, ego, again. And of course, Atlas Shrugged. She was just going to call it The Strike. And how many times? I mean, there's probably a dozen books called The Strike, even in the 40s and 50s and before that. But she said, you know what? Atlas Shrugged. The Titan that was holding up, they say the heavens, but let's just give it, the world. It's holding up the earth, has the world on his back. Let's just give it, that bit of light. So I think that it's like Atlas Shrugged. It's like it's almost like a joke. She has like a sense of humor. Atlas Shrugged, he shrugged. There's a passage in the book. I'm gonna paraphrase it because I'm gonna mess it up, but by one of the copper mavens or moguls, Francisco Carlos Andres Sebastian d'Anconia. He said, if I told you about the Titan who was carrying the world on his back, I'm paraphrasing like hell. I don't know exactly the quote, but who had the world on his back, and he's bleeding and struggling, and he's trying to keep it aloft. What would you tell him to do? And Reardon says, I don't know. What would you say? He said, shrug. Like, you're putting up with all this mess. You're putting up with all this BS and all these terrible things. And you have to, go in and try to make a living. You're trying to make the best position for yourself. And it comes to a point where you have to understand that for what you do, you're going to be chastised. You're going to get your stones thrown at you for not because of your vices, but because of your virtues, because of the good things that you've done, because of all the greatness that you made. So that's what Atlas Shrugged really is. I mean, it's perfect that September 2nd, Memorial Day falls on September 2nd. When Ayn Rand created, in the novel, it is a turning point. It's a point of reference throughout the novel in different circumstances. So that's what Labor Day is. It's all about the productiveness. It's all about productiveness. And those are the three cardinals values and their corresponding or corollaries. Reason is rationality. Purpose is productiveness. And self-esteem is pride. How do you get self-esteem? You work. If Even when you're in school and you're a kid, you're not making money or anything like that. But I mean, to my knowledge, there's got to be a school out there somewhere where they try to make money off of where the kids can make money. But you put in effort and you get something back. You've created something. You made a space for something. You fulfilled it, and that is what Atlas does. Atlas is showing everybody from there's people that used to be I think they're like scientists and stuff like that, and they're flipping burgers and stuff like that, making the best burgers possible, like making like really hearty delicious meals. But they were scientists at one time. That's what is so engrossing and so enchanting about the book. You can breeze through the plus pages. That's what's so wonderful. It's a big book, but it's worth it. It's worth every page. And it highlights and delineates the various absolute thinking spaces that occupy the novel. It shows you. It doesn't just tell. It shows you. How would they find out about this motor? What is going on with this cigarette? What is up with this missing symphony? Who is this person that's under the tunnels of the? There's like multiple mysteries. That's what I love too about the book. It's a drama. It's science fiction. It's mystery. It's romance, all in one. Like it just. I always think. Carrie Biondi. I was having a conversation with her, and she was like saying how no, Fountainhead. I think that was her first love. I think, of course, she read that first. I think, and I was like, no, Atlas, because I'm like, Fountainhead is a luxury jet, a wonderful, beautiful, streamlined jet. Everything, all the amenities, a bed, everything, champagne, everything. It's a great novel on its own. It's wonderful, but that's like an A. An A plus is Atlas Shrugged. It's a rocket ship going towards Mars. That's what Atlas is. That's the difference. And it could be luxury as well. I mean, like in my favorite science fiction movie, Gattaca. He goes onto the ship wearing a tie and a suit and tie. That's pretty cool to me. But that's what Atlas does. Atlas interweaves all these different portions and ideas into one solid portion. And it's just a fantastic read. And it's not like, oh, well, finished 1,000 pages. I can go on about my life in the same way I came in before. No, this should change your whole viewpoint. This should change your whole entire ideal of what it means to be an American or anyone in the world, especially America, because most of the ideals take place in America. And it's what Dr. Ankar Gate says, Atlas Shrugged, the second Declaration of Independence. A work of fiction, a work of art as a second Declaration of Independence because of the content that is included in the book itself. That's extraordinary. To even contemplate that, to even put that into the atmosphere. That's extraordinary. So we have to really contend with the idea that we have in our lives books and movies and TV shows that enrich us, that are art, that nourish our souls. And I don't mean that in a mystical way. I mean that in a sense of our being, our very essence, who we are as individualists. That's what I'm talking about. So Atlas is the answer to overpowering authority. It says, no, I'm not going there. And what's interesting is, if I'm not mistaken, it's Ayn Rand's book, Atlas Shrugged, is banned in Farsi and Arabic. If I'm not mistaken, I think those are the only two languages where it's not accepted. So that's an interesting thing, and it's like I said, it's for the world. It's in America. It's in America. It's for thought. It's for reason. But at the same time, we have to acknowledge the fact that we have a life to live. We have lives to live, and that really starts us to be better people. When we acknowledge the fact that we're selfish, that we're not only selfish but rational, and that we're rationally self-interested. You have to put all that together. You have to be, you're either selfish or you're irrational, or you're mixed. Now, I think 99.9% of the people on the planet are mixed. They know that they have to have something for themselves. They know they have to use, singular pronouns, and that's light. That's nothing serious, but it kind of is in a way, because that's what Anthem is about. But or was it third person? I don't think can't use first pronouns. But Atlas, it just shakes you to the core, or it ought to. The descriptions, the passages are so beautiful and well crafted. It's something to behold. It really is. It's something to be taken up on as a great idea that was manifest through one woman's mind. She may have had help. And I think, the weird thing is, if I'm not mistaken, Isabella Patterson said, maybe you should write books, to explain your philosophy. He's like, and Ayn Rand got, vehement. She's talking vehemently. She was like, oh, well, what if I just went on strike? What if I didn't do that? Then later, it turns out she wrote books on her philosophy, from For the New Intellectual, to The Virtue of Selfishness, to Capitalism, the Unknown Ideal, to The New Intellectual, For the New Intellectual, to Introduction to Objective Epistemology. And I think I'm missing some, but those are just a few that she actually, went in and explained her philosophy in nonfiction form. But they all came from fiction. That was so beautiful. That was so beautiful about Ayn Rand. She had John Galt's speech in a lot of the essays that she wrote. Her own character that she created herself to speak on her behalf. I thought that was just awesome. And there's no thank you. Thank you, Riles. Thank you, sir. Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. So I think it is, very supreme in my mind as one of the best work, my favorite work of fiction besides Soul City. But I think it's the best work ever for a novel. And that's going up against everybody. That's going up against Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, Melville, Hawthorne, Twain. You can go down the list. Camus, all of them. I mean, there's tons more I can name. There's many more. But yeah, so it definitely has a sense to it that says something that is always ringing in my mind, always saying, like, I got to do better. I got to do something, stronger. I got to write better. I have to do this in a better way. It's very helpful to know that these are characters, but you can live like these characters. You like I said, I can't have the genius of Hank Reardon when it comes to business. I'm not going to be as domineering as uh, Dagny. I may not be as cool and adroit as Francisco, and it could just be a different way of things. But the question that is asked, the first question that's asked in the whole book is, who is John Galt? Who is John Galt? What is his symbol? He's like a character, but is he a symbol? Is he? Where is he? Where can we find him? What happens to him? You got to read it to find out. Read Atlas Shrugged. I highly recommend it. It is a great work of fiction. And if I could ever aspire to be, on that level, I would be there. So I'm very pleased with the trajectory of my life. I'm not exactly where I want to be completely, but I'm on the road to it. And you have to be patient. Patience is a virtue I desire. Not gonna sing for you, trust me. But Labor Day and Atlas Shrugged tied together make a lot of sense. A lot, I've tried to look up, with Ayn Rand Institute and other organizations that are rational. I have to say about Ayn Rand and Labor Day, but not a lot of have said it. But I'll say it again. It's all about productiveness. That's what the whole point is of the novel. That's the whole point of this day, is having productiveness and reason. Reason, individualism, and capitalism. That's what all this is about. And reason is just, I mean, what is reason? Reason is the faculty that identifies and integrates the materials provided by man's senses. Oh my God. Are you awake? I mean, I don't mean, say that Ayn Rand's wrong for saying that, because she can say it and she knows what she's talking about. But I have to say something that's simpler and may not be exact, but it gets to a shorter example. Capacity to think. That's what reason is, your capacity to think. Individualism. I don't know the exact definition of individualism, but it is the oneness. It is you are a one person. No one came before you. There's no one else to come. You have one life. You have one shot at this. You have one chance. That's it. I mean, you have one chance at life. You have chances, in your daily grind, but the life of you, I mean, there's only a oneness there. So so that's it. And capitalism, everybody says, oh, it's about making money, it's about, billionaires, it's just about, cash. That's an aspect of capitalism, but really capitalism is defined as a social system that has a government that protects property rights and especially individual rights. That's all that capitalism is. It has nothing to do, primarily with mercantilism or, trading or, buying and consumerism and commercialism. Those are all aspects of capitalism, but you have to first have productivity. You have to have productiveness. That's the main idea behind it. When we say, I just loved how Atlas Shrugged was trounced by critics, but people picked it up and read it. Millions of people all over the world are still reading it. Even with I think it's I can't remember his name, but he said it's like reading, To the Gas Chambers Go or something like that. I'm like, how do you get that from this beautiful work of art? I don't understand that. That makes zero sense. This is a work that is forever going to be something that is going to change the landscape of our lives. And it took one woman, Ayn Rand. She didn't have a committee. She didn't have a cooperative to piece together the puzzles of this book. And it took her 12 years to write it. Kind of like Donna Tartt in modern times. You know, it takes her a long time to read it, but I haven't read all of Donna Tartt's work, but I heard some things I heard some things, seen some things, not too good, but that's something different. But yeah, Atlas Shrugged and Labor Day definitely coincide. They make sense. And of course, unions. There's nothing wrong with unions. There should be collective bargaining among individuals to improve their working conditions and their wages. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And that's what I think has to happen with Atlas Shrugged. People have to really understand the difference between what it means to be a person that is concerned mainly with others, or trying to do others' work and things like that, and that's okay. But what is it? People say I like to help others. I want to help others, not help others, or that's why it's not even a complete sentence or a complete phrase. It's just other, or just say others. They have to want to be the ones that help others. I mean, if you want to be in a nursing home, for your work, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're selfish about it, as long as you want to do it, as long as that's your life. You don't look at it as drudgery. You're not like a Mother Teresa, whose diaries are filled with, her the way her miserable life played out, and she kept, kids that were sick. She kept them just enough to be alive, not to be fully, strong and able and agile, but just enough to be on the side of the living. That's facts. So we have to really understand that. We have to really understand the fact that we are not supposed to live as Mother Teresa, even though she's like the icon. I think she is a literal icon of, giving and serving and sacrificing and being selfless and being unselfish. Atlas has, blast all of that away in the chapters and in the different portions of the novel. I want everyone to see how Ayn Rand integrated and applied all of her thoughts into this book and made it a masterpiece. Made it something that is completely full of joy, full of heartache, full of triumph, full of, desperation, full of greatness. And that's earned greatness, not just to say, it's greatness because she found she has 1,000 pages. That's what makes it great. No, the content is so profound, so deep, and so simple at the same time. Because it's very easy to read. It's not, it's on a 12th grade reading level, I think it is. That's not too bad. Most books are like 8th or 9th grade. But this is like 11th, 12th grade. And it's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome that September 2nd is Labor Day. It's awesome that Ayn Rand crafted this book for people to understand, to know what it's like, and to be in her world, and to better understand what it means to be truly productive, truly rational, to be completely selfish, and to always guard your mind. and be on guard and be the one that does the work. I don't care if you're, the rich, the poor, or middle class. I don't care what you are. Just as long as you are someone that takes seriously your own life and what you do with it and all the things that come up with it. That's the power of Atlas Shrugged and a holiday like Labor Day. They are all in one, all in together, all tied together, even though they wouldn't be. People would try to separate them. Say, no, that book is not right. Garbage. Atlas Shrugged. My favorite novel, the greatest novel of all time, I would say, besides Soul City. That's my second favorite, or my favorite besides an Ayn Rand novel. So, hey, I'd like to thank you. I hope you enjoy your Labor Day. Get a burger, get some hot dogs. Do what you gotta do. Read Atlas Shrugged. Start Atlas Shrugged on today, so you have a reminder. Say, yeah, I started it on September 2nd. Okay, and you know how long you read the novel. So, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and enjoy your Labor Day. Take care.